every meeting was like a whole process of our own mythologies and stories, and going deeper in feelings and our imagination.
We always think that we see the nature, but what if we think that the nature also sees us and senses us? And so I was wondering, like I think it was quite my first exploration, like what does the nature feel when I'm entering the forest, for example, and how it, like the nature senses me, and what my presence is doing to it or to her, to him.
I remember you laying into the moss in your black jacket, and the trees around you like in a circle, and it became a resource for my regeneration, to recover and to breathe.
I was like doing an experience of just standing, and when I was standing I was seeing around me, it was the countryside, and I was like, oh, it's so quiet. I don't hear where I am now, I don't see anything of suffering, of something suffering. Even if in myself I know and I think sometimes like, oh, but there is so much suffering in the world, like between humans, but also in animals and nature, relationship between nature and animal. And so I had this exploration of how can I connect it to the suffering and also maybe let it go through me. Also this idea of like, okay, I'm standing on this big ball in the universe, and this big ball is like carrying me, and so like these things of, okay, now I'm like trying to create it with my hands and to be more aware of this, is that it's like carrying me. Yeah. All this project for me was a lot of like experience that brings wanderings, that brings more experience, that brings more wanderings, more questions.
When this raven came to me, I just knew I must create this mask. And I made one, and I made the second one, and I made the third one. And I just knew I want to explore something with them. They have a message for me. I didn't know at this moment of creation. I just had a image of how it looks like. I had the image of sitting outside and observe and explore and see these animals in movement. In my score, the ravens peeled my skin. They took all this fur from me. I was protecting myself, and where I felt my comfort zone, maybe I looked like an animal or a wild man, but there was a lot of sadness inside also, and loneliness. And there was the wish of connection with the other. So they came to provoke me to play, and they peeled my skin and took off the fur of my body and just let me feel my nakedness of my soul. But in feeling this vulnerability, I could find a strength and the courage to really go in connection and look into their eyes and imitate their movements, to come alive in myself, and feel this raven spirit, or bring something alive in me that was not alive before.
Start, make that play, speed, heat, tremors, gallop.
The whole project has been an evolving exploration, really a co-creation of 4 different people, one experience and sensation opening to a new possibility to explore. How did the badger come into my life? It all started in a kind of a totem reise that Ralf guided us through, where at the end, in my imagination, I was standing by a tree or sitting by a tree, and the animal that came to me, it was a transforming squirrel into mouse into something, and then it was here, a badger. With connecting to this creature, it's not for me like, oh, the badger, this is its significance, and therefore I am the badger now. No, it was really an adventure of different things coming all together in this strange process that's unfolding with the dynamics of this group, of the history of growing up, to the significance of the creature, all melting together. So this creature stands for different things to me. It stands for strength. A badger itself he stands his ground. He's really a strong creature and very grounded. But at the same time, it's acknowledging the fear that I feel inside, and it allows me to connect to a feeling of being vulnerable in this life, but still being connected to life. It has been very challenging also to acknowledge this, but I feel that this is somehow a beginning of just becoming more aware of what lives inside of me.
The topic of home arose quite early in the first exploration in the forest. It really came intuitively that I was building like a Vogelnest with the leaves, and it all was like breaking down again. It was not really staying. And after that day, when I looked back, I was like, this was actually already there, this topic from the first exploration. And now I can say that I can sense it more in my body. Also with the process of the horns. Like they help me to explore, to feel it in my body, to see what do I need to really feel strength in my body. And there the slowness was important to explore it, because it helps to be everywhere in the body. Like the end of the piece means a lot to me, like looking to the future and rising up, being there with my strength. I have the snails that are the first part of my solo piece. For me, there are like many homes, empty homes, that still you can find your home. It's like this openness of I can be here and there and there. And right now, how they are in the piece, it's more giving an atmosphere of being alert, being open, listen to the sounds, and getting to the sensation of the body. I created a score for myself where I explored the listening, the sensing, and the hearing. And I went to the forest for like 1 hour, always telling what I see, then what I hear, and then what I feel, like always changing. And I see quite this brought me like to my first part of the piece. I really loved to go in nature and have not really a score or really something to do. It really, like, it brought me in another way of seeing how to start a work or how to get inspired. Like having the task to have no task.
I think this project really changed all of us in a way. The process of 1 year, every month, we met each other and brought our topics with the topic into our bodies, into art.